one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, the homies. What's poppin', Jeff? What's poppin', Jesse? How y'all feeling today?
Hello, Jesse. Hello, everybody.
Jeffrey. The homies.
We are feeling great. Thank you for having me, and I thank you for having us, right?
Well, I mean, since nobody would put you guys on a poker broadcast together, this is the best we can do for you, man.
This is the most time we'll get together all summer. Jeff
Every
and Jesse
Wednesday.
just not going to work for World Series of Poker
Jeff,
coverage. I'm stuck with Hanks.
You're a professional in the media world. Could you make it so that the entire microphone isn't covering Jesse's face?
I can't. That microphone is tricky.
I just
so
noticed it.
Let's
so I'll
just try not to mess with it too much.
And also,
Don't
Berkey-
listen to him, Jess.
Yeah.
Berkey, you know, I don't touch the microphone.
Oh,
right.
Just turn the microphone the other
He's a
way.
pro. He's a pro.
Turn
Right,
this,
I
go like that.
understand.
Well, if Jeff
Jesse,
touches my microphone, I'll be out of every tournament.
There we go.
Got him. Sorry.
He's made it worse.
I haven't heard that one before.
We can't hear him at all
Why
now.
doesn't he just
no.
turn? No, just
I can
take the mic and go like that.
Go like what?
We can't turn him.
Yeah,
It
there you
doesn't
go.
turn the other way?
It's a down bad mic.
Oh,
It's a
Just
down
be
bad
happy it
mic.
works.
nice.
Yeah, you know what? We don't need to see the prettiest guy on set anyway.
What? Our female viewership is just going to go
It plummeted.
plummeted.
Ashley
It would
just
plummet.
left. Yeah, Ashley just left. The other three women that were watching gone.
See you later.
All right.
It's unfortunate. Happy to have you boys. It's been a long time. Well,
Yes,
not
indeed.
for Jesse, but you know, for Platt. We
Jesse's mute right now.
he has the microphone turned away from him. We're not going to hear a word he says. I don't think he knows how these things work. It's okay. You're pretty.
Just sit there and look pretty.
We had a company-wide ban of Jeff Platt
Yep.
while he was being the Grim Reaper. Now that I'm done playing tournaments, we've decided to lift said ban.
You put in a lot of time.
I did. I played one event plus one hand.
Right.
Made it for the monster stack for one hand.
It was one hand?
One hand, yeah. I got ace king of clubs under the gun.
Oh, wow.
What am I gonna do?
Go, bro.
Play better.
Rocket it off.
Probably going to bluff it off.
What do you mean? I had the right candidate.
You had the wrong bet size.
No.
Mm.
You don't bet
No.
one big on Jack 9-4.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
You don't. He got floated by a hand that shouldn't float because he thought he had a good
kid.
price.
Right.
I got floated by a hand that does float because he had a backdoor flush draw and he hates his money.
You bet one big.
Was he floating to take away the pot later?
Yes.
He found a way.
Hence the
Old
definition of
And by
floating.
take away the pot later, he checked to Matt that went 3x pot with nothing.
Not nothing. I blocked king queen, which was the nuts.
Yeah, but you had,
Ace king, which was the non-nuts.
which is nothing.
The nut no pair.
The nut no pair is not nothing, sir. Okay? You know, I wasn't just out there rifling it off with deuces like you tend to do.
It's been a minute since
Hey,
that's
congratulations.
happened.
You found a bag.
I did.
Oh, let's go.
I found a dinner break.
Saw a lot of Becker talking shit.
Yeah.
What is that? The win,
Lots of
the
shit
win mystery bounty?
Mystery million.
I almost said mystery millions. I
No,
wish it
just
was
mystery
mystery
millions.
God, I wish it was Mystery Millions.
What was the buying in that puppy?
2200.
2200. Okay.
That
All right.
puppy.
What are we so you're missing basically like the next 7 days of World Series events for this?
I'm missing till Friday,
Okay.
which means I'm not playing the 3K freeze out today, unfortunately.
That's okay.
You told me not to play that.
It's okay. You're going to win this. It's all fine.
I don't have to win. I
Everything
just
is
have to get a lot of bounties.
I mean, if you cash for,
I would like you to win.
I
cash
would
for
like to.
22K and it's all square.
I mean, I get 4 bounties and I'm winning. Yeah, that's
Why
the
do we
nature.
think that not playing the 3K today is a good idea?
Oh, I don't understand.
Why wouldn't he play the 3K?
Because it overlaps with day 3.
Yeah, but if it's only goes on the final table, and then that means he would play there because it's a 100K bonus.
Yeah, but
Also,
he's
you're
also just rifling off 5K worth of mystery bounties. Like mystery bounties worth 5K each.
Yeah, but
And
you're
he's
kind of
still in
crushing
with
the
50
bet
bigs.
if he gets there.
Yeah, you're crushing that.
No, you're not. What are you guys talking about?
Double dipping.
You wanted to
If you
double
make
dip at different properties?
For 4 days.
If you make day 3 of the 3K, you're guaranteed $19,000. If he busts 3 people, I mean, there's gonna be like
that's the final table, right?
No, it's not. There's gonna be like 18 to 25 people left.
Yeah.
Maybe less than 19K. You might be guaranteed like 12K.
No. Let's find out.
Regardless, it won't be the final table. I can assure you that. And he has 50 big blinds in a mystery bounty tournament where the bounties are in play and each one's worth 5K. You don't want him to be there for that?
You should be there from the start. If anything, I should be at the win for like the first 2 levels and then leave.
Right, like if he made day 3 of the 3K, he should almost skip day 3 of the 3K for the mystery bounty, which is reason to not play the 3K.
Until you dust the mystery, because you're just all in almost every hand.
Yeah.
And then you go.
Okay, hold on. How long are these blind levels? Because I feel like you have to get to day 3 on, like, average stack's going to be like 15 to 20
for the win
starting. No.
For the series, it's probably like an hour, right?
3K is 40 minute day 1.
Okay, I was gonna say
60 minute.
Yeah, 40, 60.
The rest of the way.
60 minute. Yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just clear. You take the next 2 days off. You made your decision. We're in the fucking mystery bounty. That's fine.
Look,
Come on, there's got to be some sort of deep stack $800.
Oh,
I mean,
there's plenty of one-day shit.
There's like a Venetian 1K today, and then the Win 1K Turbo.
Yeah.
But it's like, maybe.
Wow.
Is the WSOP
Where's
1K
the fire?
tomorrow?
Where's the passion?
Being used for reasonable tournaments, like
Also-
a mystery bounty.
Also, what are we even talking about here? J-Max is going to fire 2 in the 3K and 2 in the 5K. We instantly pick up $16,000.
We're rich.
If he doesn't cash it either.
Okay, so like 98% of the time we pick up $16,000.
Guys,
You can't
the best
fire 2 in a
offense is a
3K.
good defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, you should
3K.
just stop playing altogether and just let him rocket it off.
Matt's kind of right though. I'm looking at day 3 of this 2K, and there's like 17 left, and they're guaranteed 18K.
Right,
So you get
so-
9 buy-ins if you're
Right,
lucky.
so maybe you get like 25K.
Yeah.
But there's going to be more than 18 people left, I would assume, in the 3K.
It's
a
a
freeze
Slightly
out,
better
right?
structure. It's not freeze
Right.
out, is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's a 3K freeze
Okay,
out.
well, then it's going to be maybe even less because
Yeah.
it's going to be a smaller field.
I think so.
Well, I'm not saying fewer people. I'm saying
I
less money.
think it'd be fewer people also. There's less chips in play.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, you know, the structure is the structure. I've made enough of these day 3s to know that I've never
There's
come
still
into.
20
I've
people.
literally made 8 WSOP final tables. I've never come into a day 3 final table. Not once. It's just not a thing.
If
Yeah.
it was the 3K6 max, you might, because I think that's 30
Made that
minutes all
final
the way
table
through.
too. Came into day 3 with 30 people.
No, but the
left.
most recent years, it's been 30 minutes, which is quite fast.
Oh yeah. Yes, if it's a turbo that they don't actually call a turbo.
This is a staple of a Only Friends podcast.
It's incredible.
This summer. The amount of times Berkey mentions the 3K6 Max and its labeling.
Speaking of the 3K6 Max, that's the one that's C-word one.
Which again, they don't label as a turbo.
I've actually been bitching about this for so long
the C-word
that
Max.
it's gone from me being mad that the structure is bad to me coming full circle and being happy that it's a turbo and only mad that they don't label it a turbo.
Yo, you know what we have to do, right? We have to find the good people at Hendon Mob and pay them
Yeah.
to remove the 3K, and then
Right.
whenever Berkey brings up, we can just accuse him
Yeah.
of making
what?
this up.
That doesn't-
I have a special place in my heart for the 3K6 Max. It was my second ever WSOP final table, and I was stone broke at the time. So I ended up selling a package where I had like a third of myself. Somehow found my way to the final table and got 3-handed versus Martin Finger and Matt Stout. Ended up rifling it off with like Ace 8 versus Stout's Ace Jack or something like that. But lost, but cashed for like 200K. And it was a fucking good event back then because it was goddamn 60 minutes from the start. You know, you navigate. You play 6-handed. I remember my strategy for this event back then, and this was advanced for 2012, was if I had an ace and I got 3-bet, I 4-bet 100% of the time. And I got to tell you, I got fucking folds like 95% of the time.
Yeah, that worked a lot back then.
Yeah, I might still work now.
Until you run into the kid who just runs every 5-bet. There were a few of those.
Not
And then you got a 6-bet all in with Ace 3.
Listen. When you cultivate a certain image, you know, a certain amount of face equity where it's perceived that you are the most insane person, you don't get fucked with. They don't try to test the waters of like, well, maybe I'll just click it on him and he'll actually find a fold this time. It's like, no. They just said, okay, Queen Jack in the muck. We'll move on. And that's
Wait,
steamrolled.
You put
know?
Queen Jack in the muck?
No, them, not me.
Not Jesse either.
Not you.
I was not aware that Queen Jack was a folding
I
hand.
would limp.
Jesse and Queen Jack suited are best friends.
Queen Jack,
brand new information.
Queen Jack, I just limped. We didn't even fuck around with opening. We just started off with the limp. Speaking of starting off with a limp, D-Negs ran into a
Nice.
pretty fun ruling yesterday.
Limping is pimping.
It's weird to see this become a discussion because I would assume that he's pretty up on his WSOP history. But this exact same thing happened with like 3 tables left in the main event in 2012, I think. It was when Caritis ultimately bubbled. I keep forgetting her name. Is it Giselle? Gael, yes.
Yeah.
So with like 3 tables left, what happened was she opened under the gun. He was in the 9 seat, and he thought it had folded to him on the button, and he was just against the blinds. He moved in for, I don't know, 40 or 50 bigs, and she either covered or was like very close and had 2 kings. The blinds folded, and after the big blind had mucked, he snap mucked. No cards now, and it's on her with kings. Ruling was obviously made that his hand is dead. He can't.
So sick.
He can't be committed to the chips that he put in. So he had to. I can't remember if they gave her the equivalent of a call or if they gave her the equivalent of a min raise. I assume based off of the ruling yesterday, it was the equivalent of a call. It's been a long time. It's been.
It
12
was the
years.
equivalent of whatever she
had put out.
Yeah. So she opened. It was that.
Yeah.
Right.
She opened to 8 million.
Right. She happened to open all in. Who knew?
I actually opened jams. Yeah.
That would be the one. Area of this that I think would be very interesting to find a ruling on. And I didn't see anybody press Savage on it, but I'd be curious to hear what the result would be. What if she had jammed, and he had said all in, thinking there were only 2 people left, and then he mucks? Or in Daniel's instance, what if he had been all in instead of having limped, and then the same action had taken place where there's no cards? How do they? I guess the spirit of the rule is still that they make him surrender the equivalent of the action, right?
Did we explain what happened?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I was like, the audience might not know.
Sorry, I just went right back into rewind mode. Yeah. So what happened yesterday was Daniel limped under the gun, folded around to I can't recall who. I think I have it here.
Archer.
Somewhere. Oh yeah, Archer. So Daniel limps 5K. Archer makes it 13 on the button. Both blinds fold, and he throws his hand in the muck.
Right. He obviously didn't see Daniel's limp.
Correct.
Right.
So he ended up getting an 8K refund. 5K had to stay. Daniel wins the pot uncontested. And he said it makes literally no sense. It's an open opportunity angle. I don't really see the angle here unless it's like, I don't see the angle here because his hand's in the muck before Daniel takes action.
Yeah. He just loses 5K. Like,
right.
How is that an angle?
Right. The only angle would be like
Daniel re-raised, or
if you see Daniel reaching for raising chips,
right,
and then you just auto muck. But at that point, it's pretty tough to pull off as natural.
Right.
So I imagine that there's some sort of discretion in that instance. But I think that this rule has been consistent throughout, and Savage was pretty hard about the fact that there are a lot of instances where you would rule in the other way, and that's really important to honor. So say you open from the 9 seat, and somebody is about to call or does call behind you, and the dealer had swiped your hand. Should you be, you know what I mean? Should you, or what was the example they gave? It was more extreme. Say you jam, and the dealer takes your hand. Should you be obligated to pay off the jam? And Savage was saying, no, you should. I think you get charged a blind or a min raise or whatever the ruling ultimately is. And yeah, basically these rules are in place for human error because it's online or live, not online. You can't automate this stuff. What else are you going to do in these particular instances?
You do?
What did Negreanu want? He wanted
the full 13,000.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So he figured he folded, so I'm obligated to get all the chips that he put in the middle.
I think it's a fair stance.
It's not a bad stance at all, I don't think.
Or I guess more importantly, I see his point of view. The issue is that this is pretty not important. The extra blind and a half here or whatever. Versus you just winning a pot uncontested anyway. Daniel stealing the blinds here plus an overcall without having to play the hand.
Yeah, someone mentioned, I think it might have been Chance, said all the EV you just recouped, you should be fine. He's yeah, I'm doing okay. Negreanu said, yeah, I'm doing okay.
It happened to him at the lowest level. It could happen, we're saying, an all-in or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I would be curious to know the reaction then to it, because like if somebody says it was.
Well, I think the Gael situation that happened with like 3 or 4 tables left in the main is like the perfect example. And I remember us having, not on a podcast, but like having a lot of discussion back and forth of like what's fair here. Yeah. And the real reason why there was so much debate is because she had kings, right? Like,
she says like ace-7 off or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, like that's great. That's worth a lot for your hand.
Well, now it at least becomes more of a discussion where it's just like very neutral, where it's like you're not concerned about somebody getting the maximum of what they deserve, but instead you're looking at it through the lens of like, well, what is most equitable here for everybody every time this situation arises?
The only hands that you actually make money when they fold this amount of blinds is like kings plus.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, like
Queens maybe.
Negreanu limped, and then he just wins 3.5 blinds.
Right.
Like a lot.
Yeah. So
for just a limping action. That's all you did.
Yeah. Of course. I used to get away with this all the time. I would limp in the one seat under the gun, and it would like fold around to the big blind, and he would assume that like he got a walk and just muck his hands.
Oh no!
It's like, what do you want me to do, man? I can't give you a refund. I limped.
Shout out to Stephanie Smith. She just said, Landon, for the love of God, keep your knees closed. Happy to see Jeff in studio.
My knees are.
It's nice that we didn't. Yeah, it's nice that we didn't lose all our female viewers. It's because we got his face back. That's why.
Is it that she caught a glimpse of something she didn't want to see, or is the smell deafening?
I'm not sure. She's just, thingamajiggy.
Cat Armsby said, so a dealer accidentally takes your cards and mucks after you go all in. Are you just tipping your cap and walking off? And I think that like that's probably the best way to frame this rule and why it's important to keep it this way. Yeah. I'm interested. Are any of you guys on the camp of like Negreanu side where it's like this should be more harshly punished, like you have to police yourself kind of thing?
No, I think it seems like a fair ruling, and then in the all-in situations, they're able to limit the amount that you're penalized for what 99.9% of the time is making an honest mistake. So I understand why the rule is the rule, and you just have to look out for the guys who are trying to take advantage of it. I wouldn't
be able to take the chips in the most extreme situation. Like,
well, yes, you would.
I would, of course, but like I'd be very upset. I'd try to argue for that person.
Sure,
because it honestly makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Right. It's a weird one because the mechanics of poker are mostly like mistakes are punished.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So like, there aren't too many situations where you're protected for making errors, but also live poker is very unique in the sense that there's a lot going. So a counter to this is, we always defer back to poker being a visual game, right? And I had a situation arise, I've told this story before, where I jammed on the river, but this was before they did mass color ups all the time. My volume of chips was just ridiculous. Like it was early on day one of like the 1K for one or little one for one drop, and I had like 300 big blinds in small chips. So
all quarters, like the mountain of greens, right. Quarter chips.
And the guy I was up against was also very deep stacked, and I announced all in, and I just slid like the equivalent of like half pot forward. Everybody at the table heard me say all in, but he has headphones on and didn't hear anything. So he sees a half pot bet and he snap calls.
Didn't this also happen in a cash game to you?
Yeah, that happened in a cash game also. It happens a bunch to people. Yeah. I guess that's the point I'm getting at is like people who are tuned out that aren't actually like verifying the action or whatever, and they're just using their eyes to trust.
Yeah, I mean which is insane. Like if you're because probably back then too, there probably wasn't all in buttons.
Correct.
Right. So it's just like
that's been a huge addition to the game.
Right, for sure. But like I mean, if you're sitting there with headphones on and you see someone put chips in the middle, you better verify how much it is because they could have announced something different than the chips that they put in.
But I guess what I'm deferring back to here is that person is punished, right? They don't ever get the benefit of the doubt of I didn't hear.
Yeah,
and
nor should they.
And nor should they because it's obvious that you can angle that.
Yeah.
Because what happens is as soon as he says call, I table my hand. I have quads.
Yeah.
He knows that he can never win, and just be like, I thought I was calling. You know what I mean? So there's obviously an angle there. I don't really see the angle in the situation that Daniel ran into yesterday.
Right.
Or even I could see one, I guess, in the Gael situation though, right? Like if she like starts to snap muck, right? Because it can happen very quickly where like blinds fold and now she just like insta folds as he's like, you know, pitching his hand. Oh, it's like, oh, bring that back kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you'd have to be really good at it, you know?
Do you remember how the Gael story ended that World Series of Poker?
Yeah, he bubbled her from the final table.
It was him who busted her.
Yeah.
And one of our producers, Zach, was telling us about this. I still need to go back and watch. But in the bust out interview with Kara Scott, it's like it just hits her that is the guy. Because Kara brings it up and she had forgotten in that moment, just to make the moment all the more devastating.
My recollection of it, and I don't know how accurate this is because it could just be the way I'm remembering it, or it could have been a narrative that was being pressed, was that he was like gunning for her from like three tables down.
Yeah, I kind of remember
feel like
that.
You're right. Yeah. That sounds familiar.
And I don't know why. Like it could just be made up.
Sure.
Like it could have just been a spin or whatever. But like that's how I remember it. So it was like even more bittersweet. Like we're on the precipice of having the first female make the World Series main event final table, and ends up stone bubbling it versus the guy who was supposed to go broke. She has him way covered, by the way. Way fucking covered.
Look how happy he is. He's like, whew.
And it was in the middle of another kerfuffle. It seems he's been given a 1-round penalty, reportedly after he moved all in, then exposed his hand with action pending.
Oh, that must have been a different situation. The penalty.
Thought that was the right one.
No, the penalty. He was saying like after the fact, he was also given a penalty for moving all in and then prematurely exposing his hand.
It sounds like he was just nervous.
Probably
Kept making mistakes.
Well, it looked like
I don't know.
too.
Jesse, do you get nervous on day 8 of the main event? Like none of us can really relate here.
I mean, I had such little sleep by day 8 that I don't even know if I felt emotions at that point. I was just tasting colors. It was wild. Wild out there. I also, by the way, you mentioned
was
earlier.
that your year?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Jesse's at this table.
How did I not put 2 and 2 together?
Oh yeah, I watched this all go down.
Wow, that's
right there.
yeah. You're
Right
right
next
to
to
her
her.
left.
Yeah.
What was your feeling in the moment as far as
I
like
was
the
at
rule?
the table when that ruling happened.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. But you had caught.
Osmus looks younger now.
I know.
I saw like Jamie Osmus 32. What?
Yeah, bros reverse
2012.
aging.
Remarkable.
Yeah. I'm sure you caught wind of it though, like as you were playing down to the final table.
44
like,
million.
Did you have an opinion of it, like in real time?
Yeah, I remember thinking that it would be a terrible angle to try to run because you're free rolling your whole stack.
Yeah.
That was
Actually,
mine,
not
yeah.
the sharpest angle to count on.
Yeah,
You only
and
wanna
then
use
his other
half your
one,
stack.
He goes all in and exposes his hand. It's like clearly this guy's not running angles. Just
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Did you see, by the way, I saw the name Salaburu was playing the 50K?
Salaburo, yeah.
Yeah, he final table bubbled it.
Yeah, right.
such
Dude,
a big
I haven't seen
Salaburu
that name in a while.
He busted me on day 5 at that event.
I
The main
only
event there.
Oh.
Yeah.
the only thing I remember about him.
Cracked my aces. Open-ended versus. I'm going to tell my bad story.
Go for it.
Aces versus an pair open-ender. And
Brian's pissed.
Well,
Thrilled it.
shocker, you had aces.
of course I had aces.
It was that
I'm not
year?
going to have aces when I get it all in.
This was 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Wow,
You were
wow.
supposed to
the
fucking
tortoise-
final
the
table
tortoise
with
went
Jesse?
deep.
I was supposed to be.
wow.
I was supposed to be there with you, Jesse.
I
Changed
bubbled
everything.
that year. I had fucking heaps.
I feel like this is a common occurrence for you.
It is the tale as old
This
as
is
time.
like the common story. It's like
I-
a 10K. I have heaps on the bubble, and I bubbled it.
I had so many chips leading up to the bubble that I remember I was like walking around because there was a hand taking way too long at my table, and I remember like a couple people that I knew were just like, "You got walking chips, huh?" I'm like, you have no fucking idea, man. I can't even keep them stacked right now. This is bad.
so funny hearing
And then I
that.
lost a massive pot. I think it was a 4 or 5 bet pot versus Maria Ho, where I had 10s and she had ace king. No, sorry, the inverse. I had ace king and she had 10s, and it came king high, turn 10. Just send me. It didn't break me, but like it broke my spirit. I was never cashing after that for sure.
Still had like 4x average.
Easy, probably like 50 bigs, but it was like I'm playing every single. I literally remember I was v-pipping like 80. I mean, I was just in.
That's it?
Well, I was limping, you know.
What are you doing with the other 20% hands?
Couldn't find a limp with them. All right, let's get to the Phil Hellmuth. I don't even know what to say. The man is a legend. Obviously, Ivy won his 11th earlier last week, chasing the 17 of the best to ever do it. And he said, all right, hold my beer. I'll get in there. He was playing a mixed Omaha limit event yesterday. I think it was
3K.
a Big O limit. I don't fuck.
It's a PLO 8, Big O, and is it PLO?
There is some PLO because on his bust out hand, they couldn't figure out what Hellmuth could 3-bet to.
It's 5 card.
It's all. But that was 4.
Oh, that's big card.
There was Big O and PLO 8.
I think
and
it's
one more.
I think it's all 08 games.
Yeah, I think it's Limit 08, PLO 8, and
Big O.
And Big O.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, throwing PLO 8 in there is like so unfair. Like you're just playing these limit games and then all of a sudden like you
No, Big O's pot limit.
pot.
Oh, they were playing that pot limit
It's
also.
a 5
I
card
see.
pot limit.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird because when I was tuning in briefly and I saw like when they were getting 5 cards, it still said limits. So I assumed that they were playing a limit round, but apparently not. He did not close. He unfortunately finished 4th, but not prior to giving everybody what they so desperately wanted, which was Phil Hellmuth just mauling some fucking meat on TV.
Oh, we love it.
His hands.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Just one sec, sorry.
Do you think he just continues with the bit?
He has to.
Now,
He has to.
mind you,
He's wiping his hands.
mind you, this is not a Carl's Jr. roast beef sandwich like we saw last time. That's a glizzy. Okay? That is a full-blown hot dog in a bun.
Is that a WSOP glizzy?
Yeah, and he's eating it like
$10 glizzy.
he's eating it like a hamburger.
Yeah.
So imagine hot dog in bun, not he's on TV. He can't
Turn that into a gift, somebody, please.
Right, yeah. He can't turn that some bitch sideways, because he's on TV.
He's got a horizontal glizzy.
Right, so he's going horizontal right through the center.
I liked his hand wiping technique.
The issue,
Let's watch this. Ready? Look at the hand wipe. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get the limit. I think he's just trying to get the limits raised.
I think he's trying to secure another commercial.
That could be too. Oscar Mayer Wiener. The issue I have with
imagine driving the wiener bus.
He'd be a perfect bus driver.
Very slowly.
Maybe he's just trying to get into the Nathan's hot dog eating competition. After
Well,
he
now
found
that-
out what's his
Joey.
name is
Yeah,
not
now that
playing.
Kobayashi Chestnut Hellmuth. Let's go.
Chestnut's out.
He's out, bro. He's
Hellmuth's very competitive.
Oh, you weren't here.
I wasn't here.
He's being he's sponsored by a rival hot dog company, so they won't let him participate.
Wasn't this supposed to be like a live Netflix?
That's something different. It's him versus Kobayashi.
Yeah,
because they're
that's what
both
I'm
out.
talking about.
Yeah, but they're both out on the Nathans. That's why.
Gotcha.
Hold up. Did you guys see Kobayashi's retirement quote?
No.
He wrote, I am no longer hungry.
That's so
How
good.
dope is that?
That's so good. Did you ever see the MTV? I don't remember what show it was. I think it was the same one that Shulman was on, like Life of Jenks or whatever.
Yeah, that was great.
They followed Kobayashi. And they were showing him training for the. It's
He's
sick.
jacked, bro.
He's jacked.
He's fucking
First of all,
jacked,
he's like
yeah.
3% body fat, but he would just like go into a noodle shop or like a ramen shop in wherever he lives, and just like order pounds of food, and just like sit there for hours, just stuffing his gullet.
Jesse's also been on MTV.
He has.
Yeah.
What was he on?
Huh?
Cribs?
Real life. I'm a professional gambler or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
Why do I
Sweet,
feel like
can
I
we
never
pull
saw
that
this? Who else was on it?
Ashley.
Yeah, him and
Okay.
Ashley. And then there was like
Jesus
another
Christ.
one where a guy like won the lottery or something. He won
Yeah,
he won like
yeah.
he won like $1,000 a week for life and was trying to figure out how to navigate it or something like that.
The title was something about becoming a millionaire.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
And
Yeah.
it was, so he like won a lotto, and I won
A lot
the
of.
poker version of the lotto.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you did.
Good times.
Getting back to this Hellmuth thing, the issue I have with the way that he approached the hot dog, it's non-traditional. I get it. You don't want to just be stuffing a phallic type object in your mouth on TV. Maybe step away. But when you go through the middle like that,
Yo, it really sends a signal to the ladies.
that's true. That is true. That is true. You're a hungry hippo, and you're not afraid to get to work.
Oh man.
But your bread to meat ratio here is all off. I mean, it's just fucked, right? Like you're getting so much cased meat here.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Maybe that's why I got 4th. I think the strategy is just it's not winning.
He said, like, some people find it cute when I eat, or something like that. It's just very weird.
It's endearing.
Like, cute is, out of all the words to use, I don't know who would just say
that's the thing,
cute.
Burke. It's like if you have he's got it, like he has like a reputation to uphold at this point.
Yeah.
And if you just eat a hot dog a normal way, that's not gonna do it for the audience.
Great point.
Right? You gotta turn that bitch sideways. Get up in it.
I eat cheeseburgers in a circle. So
Cheeseburgers are a circle.
No, what I'm saying is like
means
I'll
go around
I'll
it?
give it
Oh,
like
the
a
perimeter.
typewriter.
You eat it like corn?
I'll just like all the way around.
So just the middle of it is
bro.
left?
No,
Come
you
on.
don't.
You gotta keep this
Bro.
shit to yourself, man.
Yeah,
No, but that's probably like a really good bite at the end, though.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
it's got
actually
everything
kinda
right in the
Yeah,
middle.
you get one good bite out
Yeah.
of the entire fucking burger.
Those fucking pictures of like sandwiches of different pieces to bite off. It's like,
Yeah.
which piece are you taking?
The whole point of eating a burger, like starting with, like assuming you don't cut it, is to get the rigid corner. You start, it becomes a triangle immediately. That's the whole goal: is corner, 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 corner. You know, like what are you doing, man?
I didn't see the rule book, so I don't know.
Right.
Hellmuth didn't either. He went horizontal as well.
He did go horizontal.
Does anybody else fold their pizzas when they eat it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
But I fold it because I take all the toppings off. We don't need to get into that at all. Just the sauce and bread kind of guy.
Hellmuth had the final table just to afford that fucking hot dog, you know.
$10 glizzy.
15.
$15 glizzy.
If you want chips.
Want chips? You want a drink? 20.
What was it? It's $10 for the hot dog, $5 for the bun, $5 for chips.
$5 for the bun,
That's what it was?
$5 for the drink, $5 for the chips.
I don't know, man. The consensus around the group is that the glizzies are good.
I mean, are they that good?
I don't know.
If they're not Oscar Mayer or Ballpark, I don't want them.
Maybe we have to try one.
By the way, the day you were off, we were talking about Kobayashi, and I started to sing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song. And I go, my bologna has a first name, and Guapo tries to start spelling bologna, which is already a huge mistake. He got the B-O, and I'm like, all right, continue.
Hey, bologna's a tough word, man.
Sure.
B-O-L-O-G-N-A. All right, what else? What the fuck else do we have to talk about? All right, let's talk about a Platt tweet since you're here.
Okay.
You found a little humor in a man slow rolling.
Humor, I don't know. I felt for, it was Max Young, right? Who got slow rolling?
Yeah.
So just picture this. Everybody envision this. You're deep in the monster stack. This is, I think it's late day 3.
Oh, yeah.
60-ish left.
Roughly.
More than 8,000 entries.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than $1 million up top and a $1,500 buy-in.
That's right.
And then this happens. You open here in the cutoff. You face the 3-bet out of the small blind. And you respond to that with a jam. Your opponent asks the dealer for a count, goes into the tank, thinks about it. Oh, okay, whatever, that's fine, cool. And then your opponent reaches down to his card protector, which just so happens to be a toy car, which he just so happens to wind up and send it in your direction, right into your chip stack. And you naturally, as Max did, you would ask, is that a call? Opponent says yes. Then they table the cards. Max probably somewhat confidently tables the ace queen. And this gentleman, Joseph Alban, 2 kings.
Sure.
Nah.
Sure.
You lose. You're out the door. You asked him if he slow rolled you on purpose, and he didn't respond. And that's how your monster stack journey ends.
This reminds me of
It ends in mystery.
This reminds me of the glory days / poker hell when I used to play 2-5 at Red Rock. There were certainly guys in that game that when you got all in pre, they would go, how much is it? And they would count down your entire fucking stack and go,
And then snap with aces.
I call.
Yeah.
And have 2 aces.
Yeah.
And you just look at them and like, why? Why would you need to know? And they're like, I want to know how much I'm going to win. Well, fuck you.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Count it when it's yours.
That's so funny, though.
That's pretty good.
That's really good. I
In
never
hindsight, like, if it wasn't intentional, I wish it were because,
Yeah.
absolutely, you should do that to me. Like 100%. That's such a pure
Way to
needle.
get- yeah.
Actually, I
wanna know
might
how
work that one back into my
I was
repertoire.
gonna say, I think you should do that to Oaken.
I agree.
You have to get Oaken
You
at
have
that
to.
one time.
This is so much of a thing. Like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Oaken and Emma
I know.
have this thing going on where they'll get all in, and Oaken will have like aces, and he'll go, "Do you have aces?" Like thinking that they're chopping, or vice versa. Like he'll have like ace king, and he'll be like, "Do you have aces?" It's like, yes, it was a 7-bet pot. I have aces. The fuck do you think I have? Yeah, I might work that one back in. I'm getting pretty close to old and curmudgeon-y. I think that there's a time and place for it.
Man, that's
I like the toy car, though.
Yeah.
Toy car
That's
is fucking
strong.
great.
Is that a call?
Honestly,
Might be an
that's
angle,
great.
though. You know, if you just wind the car up and dealers start interpreting it.
I
it's like,
think it's a call. Yeah.
There was a guy. I don't remember where I was playing. It could have been at the Jewel. Could have been in a World Series event. But he had like a little like it was a toy car, but it was like a little like dump truck. It had like a little like so you could put chips in it, and you could put the chips in it,
That's
and then
incredible.
send it into the pot. That's how you make the call or the raise.
It's just absolutely
Sending a raise like that would be absolutely hilarious.
just
Amazing.
love it.
Yeah.
Is that action, sir? What do you think? You crossed the line.
Yeah. Chips are in the middle, man. I mean, they're inside a car, but they're in the middle.
Is that a raise? Like,
So-
you can count it.
There's actually a new carnival game that they've been playing in the 10, 20, 40 at the Wynn, and I think the 100, 100 at Aria. It's called the car game, and they have a wind-up toy just like
Oh
this.
man.
And they
Wow,
put
it's
it
got to
in,
be sick at it.
they put it in the pot, and I think what it is if you win, I think it's if you win 2 pots in a row, then the car goes in the pot.
Okay.
And so if you win the third time, you get the car, which is
$300 from every person. That every time you win a hand from there
from there
out.
on. Until you lose the car.
Yes.
Oh,
and that is
wow.
fucking dope. Whoever came up with
Yeah,
that,
that's a great game.
that is great.
It's just
heater
adding a
car.
progressive bounty to like normal poker.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good, but it's actually kind of interesting because as the person who has the car, like you're getting paid to play hands. So like you're getting paid a lot to play hands too, right? Like if it's 300 per person, you might be talking about like 24 big blinds. That you're making every fucking hand. So like no hand is losing 24 big blinds.
No, yeah, you literally have to VPip everything.
But also the other 8 are conspiring against you.
Right.
So like, sure, no hand is losing 24 big blinds, but every hand is losing like 1 to each individual person.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love these carny games, man. They make no limit homes. What do you guys do in the limit streets, Jesse? You know? Just think about how you're going to off yourself if you don't win the next pot.
We mostly talk about the best ways to take money out of our retirement account. That's the go-to conversation.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's feuds over different political ideals.
Amongst
a group of gentlemen.
I actually completely believe you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not lying at all.
Like because in a limit game, you don't have to like protect the game integrity, right? You don't need to make it a good game. It's just fucking paint drying either way. So there's no holding back on politics, religion, retirement accounts, IRA. I imagine some of the best financial advice in the world is available at a limit table.
There's definitely some financial advice.
Okay. How do they feel about Bitcoin, Jesse?
They have very strong opinions.
A lot of maxis in that room.
No, there's some, and then there's also the guys who tell me that it's specifically only used to fund terrorism.
Right.
And then when I say I don't think that's true, they turn their friend who apparently is a terrorist. It's used for terrorism, right? And they're like, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man. I'm sure their friend just fits a profile, perhaps.
I'm dead.
I don't ask questions.
Right. Well, why would you? You know, you're making what, half a big bet an hour?
Something like that.
You don't
want to mess that
You
up.
don't want to lose that berry patch.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
That's right. One other funny thing about Oaken is that he's super short on Bitcoin and has been like for 10 years.
Oh boy,
But
that's
he's
not
been
good.
super rich.
So like, so
10 years short on Bitcoin. How is he still in the game?
we got a whale here, boys.
Bro, he's short on the asset that's gone up the most
Yeah,
in
I
the
was like,
history of humanity.
It's a lot of funding to keep that short open.
Now you understand what I'm playing against. How could I ever leave?
Oh my god.
Like, this is why I'm playing him heads up in a game that I don't know the fucking rules to. It's like, I'm sure he'll just figure a way to fuck it up. You know? Like, there's been one asset in our lifetime that's just been rocketing straight forward. And he's like, you know, I don't believe it. I think this thing's going to crash any day now.
He's best friends with Peter Schiff.
He will get the last laugh whenever my entire net worth gets wiped the day this thing goes to zero. Yeah, that's what they said about Luna.
Yeah, that's true.
The
Well,
Lu-
yeah,
the
I don't think
Luna
there's a
clips.
death spiral with Bitcoin.
Well, let's hope not because
I don't know if people said that about Luna, man.
yeah, maybe it was
like,
a
there
little
was,
bit,
like, too
little
much-
more volatile.
It was
Right.
Luna was kind of giving the whole free money speech.
Right.
Free money is scary.
Free money is scary.
Is it ever
Lamanna comes
free?
in here once a month and gives us the free money speech.
Yeah.
And I just am very thankful to not be involved. You could be staking for 100x.
Yeah. Well, not 100.
Why does his voice have the same voice as Oaken?
I know.
Yeah, it's fucked
All
up.
of a sudden, I'm Oaken.
Every
Well,
time he's
this
got
situation-
something wrong, he's
yeah,
Oaken.
that's just that's when you say something dumb. It's just that
It's
voice.
because they have the same first name. You either give him the Lamanna voice or the Oaken voice.
The thing is, it's a lack of versatility on my behalf because my Oaken impersonation is actually quite good.
Yeah.
I just don't have the range
Yeah.
to move off of it and do something else.
But if
For what it's
someone's
worth, this is like 2.5 years ago when I first got into Bitcoin, got into crypto, and literally knew nothing about it. And I'm just like, oh, you just do this because it was like FTX. You just click a button, and it was just like you just auto staked all
Yeah.
whatever you were holding in there. And You
Yeah.
just got like a free 7%.
free money.
Definitely free.
Nothing went wrong
FTX,
there.
Yeah, nothing went
Definitely
wrong.
free.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
I was like, it's just that easy.
You know, it's
I
like
learned a little bit.
It's like I don't think you understand the dangers of a bad idea. Like for you, sure, a few $100 at play. If it all goes south, no
Yeah.
big deal. Me, I'm hearing free money, free 7%, and we got like 20 coins just sitting around
Yeah.
collecting dust.
It's like, wait a second.
That
You
one
keep them
could've-
nice and secure in your
Yeah,
cold storage,
nice-
Berk.
nice
Don't
and
do
tight.
anything with them.
I'm
Just
just-
hold them in there and give them to your grandchildren someday.
Yo,
What
there-
grandchildren?
there is-
Your grandchildren.
My grandchildren.
Adam Hendricks just posted something that a Poker Go article that says it's a picture of him, and it says Poker Pro Tamar Margolin dominates amateur players and turns 800 into 350, and you just have Adam's face right
Nice.
there.
Poker News, not Poker Go, just to clarify. Poker News does
Jeff
great
can't
work.
be
No,
affiliated.
he's
Yeah.
from that Poker Go.
Oh shit!
Oh,
All right.
Jeff's back in.
It looks like you'll also be sending an email today.
Dear Adam, sorry.
Sorry for the miscommunication.
What do you mean? Are you trying to say?
So Connor, it's the headline to the stream.
Are we trying to say that Adam Hendricks is not the Billboard poster child for amateurs everywhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so good.
That makes me think that you drafted him. No. Way too sharp of a draft pick. Way too sharp.
I wish we could get Hendricks.
Yeah, how's that team doing?
We're great. We're top 6 right now. Thank you for asking.
Really?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is performing on that
Well,
squad?
we have Kristen Foxen.
Okay.
With that
Doing good.
monster
That was-
stack field
Oh, you-
bonus.
Yeah,
She
click the
almost went-
pick.
And we had James Opst or Ops.
Oh, yep.
Oh,
The
yep.
yeah.
Aussie
Yeah.
wins the 10K 7-card stud.
Just fresh off of
We're
a
cooking.
busted tennis career, you guys just you just knew it was coming, huh?
We did indeed.
You thought he'd
We
be
did.
cooking?
We're very sharp, like you said.
Yeah, you know.
J-Bex min cashed the 2K.
Wow,
That was a point.
Wow, yeah, wow.
On the board there.
Wow, 1 point. Yep, you're getting a lot of fucking value for that $3.
We have 3 points, I think.
The real
Okay.
the real value pick was Mizraki for $1. He's
Yeah.
got 177
Sure,
right
My
now.
man had a chip on his
He has
shoulder.
177.
Yeah, he's
He
got
said
177.
nobody was gonna draft me in the fantasy, but my friends, because they fucking knew.
They knew.
They knew.
Yeah.
Wait, which Ms. Rocky?
Robert, not Grinder. He's.
Robert always shows up for a 10K.
Oh yeah.
Like,
They
I feel
live
like he
for
plays
this
a
shit.
more.
Games. He's unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you're, I mean, you'll learn. You're a clicker now. If you're a limit specialist, this is the only time of year you get a fucking shot at real money.
No, Team No Gamble No Future is actually number 8 right now.
Wow, they slipped.
Flipping.
Little slippage.
That's fine. Top 10 is great.
Anybody have 0 on their roster?
No, the
Wow.
lowest
Solid team
performer is Wagons right now for 1 point.
Oh
per
my
dollar.
God, you
He
picked
did,
Wagons.
he did bubble the 25K with Jacks against Forest. That
He
was
did.
unlucky.
Who
He
is
did.
Wagons?
Dylan.
That's
Oh,
the
Dylan.
step
Yeah,
down.
I saw a picture that Berkey posted sitting next to Dylan at the Bellagio. I said, please tell Dylan to play at the World
listen-
Series of Poker.
Listen to me. Listen to me. This is a friend.
Yes.
This is the worst pick you've ever made in the history of your
Well,
manager.
a friend would tell us before.
Okay, well, you didn't ask. But
he's not that kind of
secondly,
a friend. All right.
secondly,
And also his Hank's pick.
of course it was.
I'm cooking. I got 29 points.
Secondly, we will not be giving you back, Dylan. He is a precious.
you need him there?
He is a precious commodity in the Bellagio 100 game. We need him rifling it off 100 big blinds at a time. And we're going to keep him far, far away from the WSOP.
Yeah, that's fair. Just a couple events. If you could play those.
To your credit, though, or to Hanks's credit, he is of the impression that he's winning so much in tournaments that he needs to be there from hand one because it's not worth registering max whenever only 25% of the field.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, interesting. We like that.
Yeah, I think he estimates that he's making about 100 big blinds per hour.
Yep.
In the early levels, and that he's losing actually. As we near the bubble.
Got it.
As we near the bubble, if he's not chip leader, he's actually of the impression that he's a losing player.
Okay, so if we can just free up his schedule a little bit, get him there 10 a.m.
I got to tell you, as somebody who fits that same mold, great fucking pick. Great pick, buddy.
Still a lot of time left.
Yeah, a lot of time.
Got about a month
Look,
left.
man, if he makes a run in the main,
that's all it takes.
3 extra points.
I don't even think he's playing the main.
Stop.
That's
the conversation every day.
That's a lie.
This is no joke. You guys would not believe this. It boggles my mind every single day. The conversation every single day in Bobby's room is 30 professional poker players who do this for a living asking each other, are you going to play the main this year? And most of them saying like, I don't know.
They all play it though.
I mean,
yeah, don't you think they all end
They
up
all
despite
play
this?
it. Everybody does the same shit.
Yeah.
It's like
even I don't do that,
not
man.
the main, not the main.
Berkey will 100% say like I'm playing.
I'll show up for the fucking main.
You didn't show up on time.
Yeah,
like it's not.
Well, I convince myself every year that I'd be better served to max late reg, and every year I just say like absolutely not. Like I keep drawing the table of fucking death on time at noon,
From the beginning.
where it's 7 pros and 6 of them are euros that I don't fucking know, and I'm waiting for Grandpa to show up and gift me his chips, but he's never there.
Which day do you usually play?
I don't. It varies, man. Never the 4th of July. I'm smart.
Always play the last day. Whatever the last day is, that's
go.
the softest day.
Yeah.
Every time. It's not even close. It's literally not even close.
I've always played the first day.
Yeah, it's dumb.
That is dumb. Big pro day. Big pro day. First day and 4th of July.
4th of July, bad. It's all yours on 4th of July.
Last day 1A was me, Alti, and D Peters. It's normal.
Yeah.
Normal main event day.
Not normal.
Not normal.
You have to get a good day one table.
The days
Day ones don't matter. Look at Espen and Korai.
They're good at tournaments, man. It fucking
point.
matters to us that
Good point.
suck. We need to maintain 100 big blinds.
Yeah, you need to be
fucking,
deep. Yeah, you need to be
the
deep
whole
stacked
way.
to have a chance.
Literally
yeah.
the whole way. The times that I've made the deepest runs, I've finished like top 5 in chips the first 2 or 3 days every single time. And like my starting tables would be no one I know and Andrew Barber. And it's like we're just shooting the shit, collecting chips for fucking 4 hours, you know. Or like Victor Ramdom shows up to my right and he has a pile of chips and doesn't want to fold. It's like okay, well one of us will emerge. Yeah, you know, you don't get to the Jason Coons until like day 3. Fucking live.
I really enjoy like day ones in the main. It's so much fun.
The party.
It's always a good conversation. Everybody's always in good spirits.
Day 1's the most stressful to me.
Why?
Day 1 is.
Yeah. Because, like, you're just supposed to bag. Or at least that's the lie you've told yourself, right?
Why would you ever lie to yourself like that?
Well,
How do you not bag day 1? I've never
you.
Never not bag day 1. 15 years running now.
Here's
baby, I didn't bag level 1 time. I'm serious.
I'm with you. Here's a funny stat. I've only ever once made day 2 and not cashed. No. That's not true.
Day 3, maybe.
No, I bubbled twice.
Yeah.
I thought I bubbled once, but I bubbled twice. But whatever. Either way, point is that like the majority of the time I don't bag day 1. Like you just bleed. You know, you're playing 200 big blind poker and you get Jack 9 suited a lot. What are you gonna do?
I mean, you raise and they all fold because they play super tight.
No, it's like middle position opens. You're in the cutoff with Jack 9 suited. Like all options are available except for fold, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
LaManna just pitches it.
Hanks is in the streets.
It's right in the muck.
And we're a little late, but he says it was an intended panic punt in for Dylan.
Oh.
We wanted Blesnik.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Lesnick would have been a good pickup, it turned out.
Yeah.
Sports cards.
He did say he was playing a full schedule. Whoever slept on Scotty Boombots is well deserving.
Oh yeah.
Who is
He
Scotty
went
Boombot?
What?
Scotty Seaver.
Sieves.
Oh.
He went way too cheap.
What did he go
He
for?
was the gift of the
25-ish?
year for sure.
30,
35?
31, I think. Him and Rast were the same price.
Yeah. We talked about this the first time this week I came on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found our answer.
I made the wrong choice there, I guess.
I was with you though. I was with you because
you don't expect Scott to actually play some of it.
correct,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the irony is that we expect Rast to grind, but why? He's rich. He's good at cash games.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, to be fair, he did show up right behind me in the monster stack, so I think he is actually out there doing the
I
thing.
think so too. Yeah.
But like Seaver's playing like 6 events a day, not sleeping. The man has not slept since 2017. Who wants it more than him?
He does want it.
How many
really
do
bad.
we think he gets this
I don't
year?
know.
Is he done?
He won his second bracelet, and he goes, "I'm going to win 22 more."
Yeah. He wished there was one for him to jump into that night.
There was. He could have maxed the little monster.
Oh, I didn't know. But the monster kind of crushes these guys who are
Yeah,
going for
can't play.
Player of the Year.
5 days.
Takes too long.
Way too long.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about that event that very strange to me. What happens that it drags that long? Because they make the money midway through day 2.
Yeah,
It's
but
slow.
1,300 people are still in the event.
Shout out to Fausto. Shout out to
1
you.
hour
Right?
levels.
And it's-
full
and-
way.
and they're pretty deep.
Ivers.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
a couple homies in there.
Okay.
You and
Yeah, so you
Snimmets.
like you get like there's probably like 400 left at the end of day 2, and then
Right.
60 left at the end of day 3, and then day 4 plays down at the final table. And
Martin
final table is the
Cabral,
last
chip
day.
leader.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
You know who's right behind him?
Mhm.
Who?
Him, Riley.
Yep.
Cabral and Riley.
Two
lead the
people I
way.
couldn't root for more. I'm actually.
Shout out to Fausto. Still in,
Let's go,
still in the
Fausto.
mix.
Nice.
He's got a little above average.
I am low-key
Yeah.
rooting for Cabral. He is a duster in cash.
He,
Mm.
wait, he comes to play with you guys?
Whoa.
I don't get to play with him.
I'm looking at the chip counts on Poker News, and Fausto Valdez has a little badge on it under his name, and I click the badge, Jaka coaching badge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My oldest student
We
is a
lost
trader.
him?
No,
lost him? No.
no. He honestly he does one-on-ones and still coaches our content in the
Why does- but
one-on-ones.
where did he get the badge from?
He's a part of Jaka coaching.
That's what I'm saying. He left you.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Him and I, not,
I was
not
like,
all of us, but it was just a good financial decision. You know, you do what you got to do. I'm
You
not
do.
mad.
I ain't mad.
I ain't mad about
Got to
it.
get him a patch though for FT.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. We'll see.
Imagine getting him to both patches.
He came to like one of the very first academies ever.
Mhm.
Fausto's great.
Yeah.
If you guys are ever looking for one-on-one coach, he's your guy for sure.
Talk to Fausto.
All right, let's get to In the Muck.
All right, boys. Per usual, it is I.
Hello, Guapo.
In the muck
is
once
I.
again.
Maybe
Nerds
maybe
and
you're in the
Brainiacs,
muck.
please start submitting so that I don't have to be the sacrificial lamb.
This segment was actually meant for you to be the sacrificial lamb.
Okay. Well, I
Right,
appreciate
'cause,
all
like-
the free coaching. I mean,
Well, it's not just that. We want the emotion of being in the muck, not just a hand history or a bad beat from Lamanna.
Well, we're gonna get. We're actually before you start this, we're gonna get a good one. I think we're gonna get a good one. Somebody slid into my DMs.
Oh shit! What's her name?
It's a guy. I know he definitely has a dick.
Sorry?
So I just get I get a DM and he goes, "Hey, turtle dick, it's baby dick."
Okay, yeah.
And then he said he has
What a goat.
He said he has a in the muck to submit. I said send it on over. So once he does, we'll get that one up and running. Go ahead, Guap.
Him and Rigby hand history.
God,
now that we have all the phallic references.
Every business email should start like that. That's unbelievable.
Instead of I hope this finds you well.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so we open the cutoff with 9-10 of hearts. We get 3-bet from the button. We're going nowhere. We get a flop of King, Queen, 8. I'll be checking 100% of range here. I think is pretty normal. We check, and our opponent decides to check back. We see a turn of 7 of hearts, so now I've turned the world, and I think it's pretty easy for me to bet here. Thoughts that were going through my head were how big to bet.
Okay.
I decided to go with 3/4,
Sure.
and our opponent calls. Now this is where I feel like I'm in the muck. We get to the river, and now I have a pair of 9s, so I feel like I have a little bit of showdown value. But I'm trying to think about the button's range here, and if he has a hand like pocket 10s, pocket jacks, that has us beat. And I'm not sure if we're supposed to turn our hand into a bluff. I decide to do just that and I overbet, and the villain lets it go.
All right, so 2 questions first and foremost. First, on the turn, do you play any other sizing scheme?
What do you mean by sizing scheme?
So you bet 75%,
Okay.
but and don't take this the wrong way. It's just a general question. When you're probing turn here, you should just have a prefix size in general, right? Like king queen 8-7 two-tone that has gone check now in a 3-bet pot. Like you'll just have a size that you use on the turn, or 2 sizes perhaps on some textures. So what I'm basically asking was this a decision in the moment that you just like feel, or like if I gave you 6 different hands that you're planning on betting, you would just choose 75 for all of them? Like you have pocket 8s, you have ace king, you have ace queen, you have king queen. Like, are you just B75 with that entire range?
It's kind of a feel thing, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's why I ask, because I think that's a good. I think that's actually where you're in the muck. Not because you necessarily chose wrong.
Right.
We'll see when we look at the
I
sim.
obviously identified that this is obviously a very good card for me. Not only because I picked up a lot of equity, but it just seemed really strange that he checked back on the flop. This seems like a really nice board for him.
The thing is that outside of picking up equity, it's not particularly a good or bad card for you. It's that he just shouldn't be playing check back.
Yeah.
Right. So now what it really turns into is, how do we exploit the fact that he's checking back a range that's not incentivized to do so?
Okay, interesting, because I think the toughest part for me was the river decision.
Like if the turn's a deuce, I think you have the exact same bet. If it's a deuce of spades, right? Like nothing's. Yeah. The only thing that's nice about the 7 of hearts that actually complicates things a little bit is you pick up so much equity, your decision now becomes betting versus check raising, right?
Sure.
And I think betting is the correct one because he made a mistake on the flop. So you can't really expect a bet to come through on the turn. And also check raising is a little bit awkward because you can't really check jam, assuming that he picks a proper size, yada, yada, yada. So the reason why I'm framing this as what's your overall sizing scheme in general in this spot is because that's the right way to begin to extrapolate your study, right? If you're just constantly freestyling and picking a size in the moment, what's going to happen is you're going to custom for your equity. So either you're going to miss bets.
I see what you're saying.
With
so
hands that should bet.
If I had like pocket 3s here, like would I have done the same thing?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. So what ends up happening is either you end up missing bets that are important bluffs to have because they don't feel coherent with the sizing that you feel like you should choose, or you just miss size, which I'm personally guessing that you would miss size here. Like after a check back that shouldn't happen, I think we just 2E whenever we bet turn. So basically we're picking a geometric size that allows us to be all in on the river.
Yeah.
And in this instance, we're at 3 SPR? No, a little bit less. Or sorry, a little bit more. So we're at like 7 prior to your bet. Yeah, so like 7 SPR. So it's probably going to be like 133% pot. Right? So you just overbet, live with the results. Because he just doesn't have enough call downs.
Right.
In general. Like he probably has a lot of Queen X, a lot of ace jack high, ace 10 high,
tens,
pocket jacks.
Yeah.
I mean, you block 10s, but yeah, he'll have some, maybe pocket 9s, whatever. Like
you don't get jammed on if you overbet.
Exactly.
He plays no raises over your bet.
Yeah. So I think all that's true. River, I think, is good. River is one of those things where it's like it's good to identify you don't have enough showdown value to check, and whatever size you choose, it should just be like big. I think a real big problem would have been picking like 80% here or 75% because now he can jam 10s and jacks, which is problematic because now your bluff fails to rebluffs, and that's like a horror show. So like the fact that you found the overbet, I don't think you're in the muck there at all.
Okay.
What do you boys think? The resident
I think the
MTT
software
guys?
looks great.
It does. The replayer looks good,
right? It looks sleek.
I think so. Yeah.
The only cash games I really pay attention to are No Gamble, No Future, and I don't think you gain much knowledge
He's
in
plugging in
the
the middle
strategy
of my
world.
muck. I mean, come on, Jeff.
Yes, No Gamble, No Future episodes every week on Poker Go. Jesse?
I like polarity on the turn. I can't think of too many hands that benefit from betting small. Like, if you have like King 10 or King Jack, like it becomes like a little enticing to go small and try to get 2 streets from a queen or something. But realistically, like they've kind of capped themselves with this range, or with the play. And
with the check back on the flop, you mean?
Yeah. To some extent. Obviously, they could have some traps, and in practice, people could maybe. Some people will trap too much. Some people like never trap, whatever.
See, that's funny because I think in practice they're just betting here a very large percentage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's never like checking back aces, right? Like if it's a trap, it's like
kings,
specifically kings. Yeah. But that's really hard to have, and he probably just has like ace queen a lot. Anyways, like for all these reasons, I don't really see a lot of reason to go small with too many hands. So I'm basically I think I'm just gonna polarize here and bet like something that beats king 10 or so plus, maybe king jack, and go like 2x ish pot on the turn, 1.5 to 2x, and jam river.
Okay.
River, like as played, I'm trying to decide if you have better hands to bluff because you do have ace 10 and ace jack. And you do have some showdown value with your 9 now.
That was the first thing that came to mind. It's like, okay, well, I'm beating ace jack now. But I mean, I started to think like, what else am I beating here?
Yeah, you do lose to a queen a good bit. If you want to like,
especially with your suits too.
I don't know how often you start betting. Check those. The bluff, but
sure.
You bet them at least some of the time, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure what I was beating here. Like if I didn't turn my hand into a bluff.
Yeah, I think you would check a lot more queen X, like other hands that may feel like they function as a bluff, like queen jack, queen 10.
They wouldn't bet the turn.
That's true. Well, they might for that size.
No,
but yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I think this is like a no-brainer. You block like all the 2-pair calls, and I just don't think he has enough king X, so he probably starts folding queen X a lot.
Yeah, it's like maybe in theory you find some checks, but I really don't mind having too many bluffs here too, because it's kind of a unique spot that won't come up very much. People don't check this board back.
Yeah. I don't think you're in the muck at all, Guapo, but let's take a look and see. Oh, I got to share my screen. Let's not take a look just yet.
Real time after the hand. I said like 125 and then all in on river.
125% pot, you're saying?
Yeah, on the turn.
Yeah, I personally.
What's your worst value bet on the turn, Guapo?
I think I think the most interesting part is that I really thought that the river decision was like my in the muck part, if you will. But I guess maybe the turn is where I should be looking at.
What's your worst value bet on the turn,
Guapo? Why do you think river puts you in the muck?
Because I wasn't sure what to do in the moment. Like as soon as I turned a pair, I'm like, well, am I really supposed to be turning pairs into bluffs here? But then I started to think about like, and there's going to be times where he just shows me 10s or jacks, or he shows me a hand like ace queen
jack, like, ace queen.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed better to just go on the side of just being aggressive.
What do you beat is the better way of rephrasing it, right? Just ace jack, ace 10. And
very weirdly played ace 8 suited.
Yeah. And like you also have to hope that they all check down and don't bluff themselves, because you clearly can't check call your hand. Like that should be abundantly clear. Maybe I guess you could block and like kind of semi bluff that way, but that it just seems like way too low down to approach it that way. All right, let's take a look and see what this looks like in theory land.
What hands that beat him? Sorry, what hands that beat him are betting that river though? Except for like
king X.
Yeah.
King X, jack 10. I mean, he will have jack 10 in range.
Yeah.
It's not a non thing. 2-pair.
Yeah, it was nice having the 10 of hearts.
Yeah, he'll have like a little bit 8-9 suited, maybe king 9 suited. He has hands for value for sure.
King 10.
King 10, maybe.
Yeah, if it plays this way.
I mean, if it checks flop, like it's a
king 10, king jack.
Pretty clear value bet on the end.
Maybe
not clear, but like
and then check.
Like,
hand's good.
Yeah.
He actually might have a bunch of 2-pairs, like a weird 8-7.
Nah,
you don't want to.
Not facing B75 on turn. You just want to raise. Okay, so clearly he misses a flop bet. I think we all knew this was going to be a range bet spot. So best I can do here is like lock for what is intuitive to me of how people misplay these spots. Like missing a range bet really reeks of being like overly conservative. The exact opposite of Jeff Platt. Had the experience of playing 2 orbits of poker with him and watched him melt 100 big blinds. Like
it was 40 big blinds. Thank you very much. But the melting part is true.
Looked like 100 to me.
It's 40.
I mean, just his face got kicked in by this recreational. It was beautiful.
It was just absolutely snapped on a bluff. Like didn't give me the sweat of like, oh, maybe I can get this one. He
didn't have a good hand either.
I mean, he had 3 kings. You said recreational player.
Oh,
3
sorry.
kings is
I
great.
was thinking about the other hand where you folded versus him. I can't remember what the action was.
Guys, you know, there's a thing going on in the Twitter world that we're trying to switch recreational to optional.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You know, an optional
I'm
player.
sorry?
Yeah,
An
an
optional player.
Well, whatever this guy was, you own my soul.
I don't think that's the right term. It feels reductive. But anyway.
Sorry, Guapo.
No worries.
Okay, so we need to build out some sort of checking range for him. Let's assume that he checks good hands, I don't know, 10% of the time. We'll give him a little bit benefit of the doubt, 15% of the time. So let's assume he checks like aces and sets and then top pair like 15% of the time. And then let's assume the rest of the checking comes from his bad hands. So like second pair, third pair, low pair, ace highs. And then yeah, same thing with like open-ended straight draws. Let's assume it's like 25%. Whoa, what happened here? There we go. Assume it's like 25% of the time. Got shots maybe 50-50. Okay, I think that's pretty good.
You might want to take out some ace highs because one, they're more likely to get c-bet, and two, I think you have every ace high in there, it's just going to skew to what we're seeing.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. Also, I accidentally put in the big bet size, which should be non-existent.
Although it would be interesting because if they have all the ace highs in there, then maybe you don't just.
Okay, so what was I doing? 75, 0. All right, let's try this again. 0. There we go. All right. So sets, over pairs, top pairs, 15% of the time. Okay. Now let's go 25, 75 for second pair, third pair, low pair. Ace highs, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Let's say it's more the 75-25 bet portion. And then open-enders, let's say, is like 50-50. Let's say 75-25. And then let's say gut shots are like 50-50. Okay. That seems better. It's always tough to like study these spots where there's just an instant mistake. Like, it's almost just like, okay, well, there was an instant mistake. We should just capitalize by just like fucking this guy every time any turn card comes off because we have a gut shot. So the turn card's a 7 of hearts, giving us an open-ended straight flush draw. I imagine we're just going to get the big bet here, like after check back, because this check back range is like super weak. And yeah, that's what happens. Not nearly the frequency I would have expected.
9%.
Though. So we're still mostly playing check, and I guess that's because a lot of our range just has showdown value. So we still have like a lot of pocket pairs. We have a lot of single pair hands, a lot of ace high type of holdings. Let's see where.
What is my exact holding doing?
It's blasting.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. It's 2E, 125%, as we kind of suspected, and those are the only sizings that it wants to use. You can see there's no desire to like block bet or anything along those lines. So the question kind of came up of like, well, what would you do with King Jack? It's like not bet. It's just kind of that simple, right? Like you just turn this into a one street hand where what happens if it goes check, check again, you'll big bet King Jack on the end to just target exactly like ace queen, right?
Sorry, what is pot? Is it 10 or?
The pot is
no, it's gonna
It'd be about 15, right?
16 and a half blinds. Yeah.
This bet is 2E.
So your bet sizes are 20 and 6, right?
16 doesn't get chosen.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean,
Because block doesn't make any sense, right?
probably not.
Well,
It
the
might
point
be nice
is
to
like
have a really small one and like a bigger one.
when they check like a range bet, their range is really strong, like by default. So the machine is more careful and you have to be more polar when you bet.
Well, it's not strong though. We painted it.
Yeah, I mean, you still painted good hands in there.
Some. I mean, yeah, he's a little bit of top pair, a little bit of over pairs, but it's mostly just like
You still left like top set, right?
very little, but some. I think I gave him 15%.
Sure. But like, yeah, when they check, you have to be very, very careful. At least in the machine land. I get like in practice, I get it. Like, just go for it. Most people don't have good hands enough.
Point is that like the instinct to bet here is good. The sizing choice, obviously, as we kind of explained, is bad. Now, if we eliminate the large size and we just give 75%, which is what you chose,
Funny, you might even bet a little less.
I was thinking that too.
It's like bad size.
Yeah, it might work. So it's 8%.
Wow.
All that happens is like king queen bets more.
Womp womp.
Ace king bets more.
Yeah, you just go like thinner for value.
And 9 still has to bet.
10-9's still in there a lot, but like the other combinations of it, no, don't bet anymore because they don't accomplish anything, right? Like before, you could bet like 10-9 of diamonds pretty freely for the larger size, but that's because it puts a lot of pressure on like ace 10. But for 75, it just doesn't, right? Or ace jack, whatever.
It'd be kind of fun to put in the 125 size and then like 100. Like basically just
it has the option.
You see how big it is, essentially.
Yeah, so it runs through all the sizes, and it landed on 100 and 2E being the only two that are really viable. Like it regressed down to those, but it always has the option for all in. All in is, I think, 400% or 500%.
Yeah, I mean, all in's probably a bit egregious.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like if we only gave it like 75 and 200, it's just going to pick 200.
No, that's why I said 125 and 200. I mean, I just assume like somewhere between 150 and 200 is optimal because it's pretty cheap.
Well, 20 is the geo size.
Yeah, 125 was
geo. It
geo.
already picked geo size. It liked that one.
Correct.
Okay.
It's always just going to pick geo over something bigger, especially on a board texture like this. Yeah, like 200's never used. Anytime like the geo size is preferred, it's going to choose that as like the most optimal one. Okay. What the hell? My number lock off?
Full hand, Guapo.
Thanks.
So yeah, basically the response is going to be mostly calling, very small amount of raising, but mostly calling because there's not enough protection. River, 9 of spades. I assume we're just going to be like pure bluffing our hand. Yeah, 10-9 pure bluff. So you're just all in.
You're all in.
So I screwed up the turn. I screwed up the turn in the river in terms of sizing, not in terms of not being aggressive.
The hand is fine. Like the
In
hand class
accuracy,
is
not in
good.
air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, like if you have a hand like Jack 10 here, you have like a set, you're probably going to try to find a way to be all in, but you left 40 big blinds behind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think the bigger takeaway here is
no. Get that shit out of here.
What's wrong with the green check mark, guys?
No green. How do you get a green check mark?
to put that up.
How do you get a green check mark when you have 40 big blinds behind on the river when you're supposed to be all in?
Fine.
I think he did fine. It's still an overbet.
He tried.
Do we have one where the Wizards is like,
I'll work on that one.
Yeah, it's like an 8 out of 10, you know?
All right, it's a passing grade.
Look,
Yeah, it passes.
If you give it the size that Guapo chose, his hand picks it sometimes. He did fine.
there you go.
He did fine.
Cope.
He did fine.
Cope and mold.
It's basically, it's demonstrating the principle of like, I don't care what size you pick as long as you overbet. Right? Like you just have to be overbetting here because he doesn't have enough calls. And if you go too small, you're going to get looked up by bad
it's like
hands.
when Brian bet his 8-3 of clubs and didn't go for a bigger size too.
Yeah, like
4x pot shove.
look what his call range is whenever
We're seeing a trend here.
This is his call range whenever Guapo bets 125. Like it's just sets. You know? He has
That's
no Jack 10.
Jack's messed to
A
mix.
little bit of Jack 10, sorry. A little bit of Jack 10 goes, oh, sorry, these aren't calls, these are jams.
These are
That's
all
a straight.
So he's jamming for 10%, or sorry, 20% more.
He would get a penalty.
With sets and straights, and then the calls are like whatever King X he checked back. You can see like his Queen X just like almost pure folds. Ace is almost pure folds, right? Like if it gets here this way, Ace Queen suited pure fold, and that's really what you're targeting: the Ace Jack, Ace 10, Ace Queen, pocket Jacks, pocket 10s. Like, I mean, Jack sometimes yeets it as a bluff, which is brutal. But like, what are you gonna do if he finds that one? 10's pure fold, his 10-9 pure fold. You know, like even King 10 isn't purely calling, stuff like that. So you're accomplishing what you hope to, and the more devoid he is of King X, the more functional Guapo's bet becomes, right? Because like he just doesn't have enough calls. The machine will then start forcing him to call with Queen X, which is just bad. You know, he's just not going to do it, practically speaking. So I think you get a passing grade, Guap. I think you did a great job.
Thanks, Poppy.
8 out of 10
Good
is
job.
passing.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 is very good. I think the thing to take away from here is the way that you think about the turn after somebody makes an error. You don't want to be freestyling in those moments. Like, you want to have a predetermined kind of
strat.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you get really good, but like, you really just want to have like a population of bet sizes to pluck from, right? Where on most turns, when the action is open and you're making the decision to bet, you can pretty much eliminate, barring like a flush complete or maybe a straight complete, something like that. You can pretty much eliminate everything below 66%, right? Like, those sizes just mostly won't be used.
Okay.
So you're immediately gravitating towards 66% and up. And up goes all the way to 2E, right? And the important thing is that you start at the boundary, like the upper limit, and then decide against it and work your way down. Because if
That's funny. I think I work in the opposite direction.
I know you do, because you hedge everything.
Yeah, I work in the opposite
right.
direction.
You're like, can I bet half pot here? Feels a little bit small. Okay, 75.
Yeah.
Because you already wanted to bet half. Yeah. But if you start at the other extreme of the highest boundary of like, okay, well, 2E is an option here, which is 125% pot. Is that viable after he plays check back and I don't think he's protecting his range? If the answer is yes, what's my follow-up to that? It's like always all in. It's like, okay, well, I have a hand that's like 50% equity against a lot of his hands. It seems like a good one to just go bomb and just be all in with. And if he calls me with a fucking queen or a king, God bless.
God bless, yeah.
Sayonara. All right, boys. This has been great. Jeff's just like a moth to a flame, staring at the graphic.
Yeah, great graphics and video. I always just listen to the show, but like the intro video and the In the Muck graphics.
We're here doing some goddamn work, man. If you guys want to submit your own In the Muck, Jeff would love to have you submit one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
we need to
I'll
get
send
Jeff
one
in
from
there.
the
I'm sure Jeff
tournament.
doesn't play every hand perfectly.
Look, I've seen enough to know that we deserve
I'd
some.
be in their
we
in that
deserve
muck.
some submissions. Nikki posted a hand yesterday, and
man, yeah, I already.
I texted her about it, and she goes, "I was in the muck in this hand." I go, "You weren't in the muck, you were in the merge." But if you guys would like to submit your own In the Muck hands, be sure to head to our Discord channel. That's you can find it at our Twitter page at @onlyfriends_pod. It's the pin tweet, or you can hit hashtag Discord in the chat. Follow the link. There's an entire forum dedicated to In the Muck. Shout out to GTO Wizard, our sponsor of In the Muck. Always doing great things. They just released a big update with new ranges for you guys to be able to study. A lot of live stuff, which is going to be groundbreaking for us moving forward. Sorry, kill the music real quick. Gotta cover one more thing before we get out of here. Very sad news to hear the passing of Matt Parry. He was an online Jersey legend, went by MJ Parry as well as Irving Magic on the WSOP sites. We fucking battled through COVID. He was a very talented player, played both PLO and No Limit Hold'em, recently won a big event at the Win. Looked like things were moving in a positive direction for him. Unfortunately, he was found that he had passed away a few days ago. So big loss to the poker community. Somebody that I actually never got to meet in person, but big impact on just my lonely days of COVID and out there battling it on the felt in the online realm. So I think the community's missing a good one here today. Gone very soon, way too young. On that note, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope this is a more regular occurrence.
Yeah, let's do it.
Don't be afraid to come curse this building. It's fine.
I think you might get Hanks in here soon in a couple days, perhaps, with a very special guest.
Well,
Not that we aren't special
I heard he was
enough.
on deck today, and we just showered his ass.
I think he just a misunderstanding across the board.
Yeah.
Just typical with Brent, as you would know.
I envision, you can roll the music now. I envision that he was actually like sitting at his computer with his Zoom uploading his camera
I was
on.
picturing that too.
Yeah, his camera on, and then
he was
Platt
just
was
ready
like,
to watch.
we're full today. We don't need your service. He's like, no. I'm just here to watch, boys. It's like, okay, well, great.
Right.
We'll get the Mallard lover himself in here very, very soon.
Well, his special guest is a duck.
Don't you
He
worry about
is
the
the
special
ducks.
guest, okay?
He's always got ducks.
You'll be fine. We're all going to be fine. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow, 10:30 Pacific. We'll see you guys all then.
Peace.
Later, squad.
Peace.